When I finished my first year of self-improvement, I realized I need something harder, something more challenging than just implementing some good habits. And soon enough I realized I could as well make some money. So quickly I realized a business was the way to go. And I decided on YouTube business model as it was the most convenient and obviously the meta. After crafting my first video for a whole month, I realized, man, it's hard. It's hard. And I said, yeah, I burnt out. And I went into my first ever rut. My biggest one, which was 4 months, which is insane. It's almost half a year just wasted. I would just wake up and be a total degenerate, watching some degenerate stuff, playing video games. It was horrible. And one day, I just stumbled upon this video, and it was an interesting idea in the thumbnail, which I kind of flashbacked me back to the very start. It was about 1% of improvements every single day. From the book Atomic Habits, which I read just at the very beginning. It was my first book ever read on self-improvement, and just first ever read book. And I was hyped up. I thought, wow, that's great. So I hopped into the cold shower and I felt awesome. I felt fantastic. The rest of the day was kind of nice, but still generous. It was a progressive overload, kind of. But the next day I realized, yeah, I need to hit some workouts. So I didn't have the access to the gym at that time. So I realized I might as well go to some outdoor, training ground. So just to the bars. And when I put my shoes on, I realized, oh god, it's rain. But I was prepared because I got hyped up from David Goggins' motivational videos. And I looked at that rain and I thought, oh fuck yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And I ran a few minutes toward the bars, and I had one of the greatest workouts yet. It still was kinda small, just go on half an hour workout, just make some pull-ups, maybe under the rain, right? But the whole idea that I recovered in just a few weeks, I guess, to a pretty great schedule, even better than it was when I just started. Just by gradually adding the habits and rolling that ball forward. If you ever went to the gym, you can imagine the situation that one guy wants to bench press 50 kilograms. And he goes every single day to the gym, and after a year, he's still on zero, because every single time he tries, he fails. He just barely falls. But imagine the other guy. The one guy that is more humiliating about himself. And he goes with, alright, I'll try 2 kilograms. He benches 2 kilograms, alright. Then the next week, he goes 3 kilograms. Then 5 kilograms. Then, 6. Then after a few weeks, he still plateaus on 6, but then he goes 7. What do you think will happen if he will still go every day for a whole year? I think he would bench 30, 40 kilograms, not 50. But compared to the guy who did 0, 30 kilograms is great. It's awesome. It's also called progressive overload. And it's kind of obvious that the first guy who tried to bench 50 kilograms is kind of stupid, right? It sounds funny, but most of us are the first guy. The one that tries to quit playing video games in one day. Who gets hyped up and says, I'm not gonna eat sugar for the rest of my life. And after a few days, maybe even after a few hours, you and I still go and eat that sugar thing. We made our addictions for years, for decades. Literally, I was introduced to Minecraft from 6 years old, and I played till 15 actively, massively. It's probably, I don't know, tens of thousands of hours. It's insane. And essentially, the point I'm trying to make is that you grew that addiction for decades, alright, for years. And now you want to just, in one day, boop, cut it out, gone. It doesn't happen that way. You need to go from 1 kilogram to 50, not just 50 kilograms. You know, this humility is what truly allows you to make some great progress. And the people, especially our generation, who are having a lot of ego in themselves. Ego is basically confidence based on nothing. If I were to bench press 30 kilograms and then I would arrogantly say, yeah, I could bench 30 kilograms. That would be confidence, because you know. But if I were to go 3 weeks into the gym, bench 5 kilograms and say, if I really want, I can bench 30 kilograms in a week. That's arrogance, but moreover, it's ego. It's based on nothing. You haven't proved it to yourself. It's just a belief in nothing. And our generation has a lot of problem with it. Literally, a year has passed since I decided to quit playing video games. And yet, after watching all those self-improvement videos, all those sexy answers of, yeah, find the meaning of how bad the habit is, and replace it with good habit, and I don't even remember that shit now. Because it just doesn't work. It doesn't matter. What I realized after seeing myself playing video games fucking a week ago, who am I trying to fool? A few days ago, my brother asked me to download some good video games for him, and I downloaded, and it was like Hollow Knight, great game that I had great memory with, and I played for a few hours, right? It didn't work. It didn't work. Now, what I realized, how to actually get outside of my addictions, is greatly illustrated by another example of just a few weeks ago. I was in my second biggest rut, which was 3 weeks of total, kind of total degeneracy, you know? I still didn't eat sugar, I still went to the gym, but it was still really bad. Because I wanted to think on, why do I do anything at all in life, you know? That middle-age crisis I got in my 17 years old. I realized that the life of degeneracy will never be as fun as fulfilling as the life of greatness, if you want the TLDR of my little experiment. But the point is, when I realized the answer, yeah, fulfillment and being happy is what I want. So I will go on a path of greatness. I will return to YouTube and great schedule and wake up at like, of course, not at 4 a.m. as I did, because it was kind of a bad experience. But also a bad experience is still experience, right? The point I was making is that when I wanted to return back, when I decided, yeah, I'm returning back, being a huge ego, man, I planned a whole week on my Google Calendar, you know? It was that rise and grind, then... So basically, my schedule would be, I would wake up at 7 a.m., I would learn 2 hours, then I would record my video, then I would go to the gym, then I would learn again for 3 hours, then I would record another video, and then I would go to... I would learn again, you know, and then I would read, and then I would go to sleep. It's too much. Especially if I want to go from I don't know, like 3, 5 to 30, right? That schedule is 30, but compared to me being the general for 3 weeks, I'm on 1, on 2. You know? That humility is what allowed me to quickly recover in just a few days. After a total degeneracy, I was literally feeling the same as when I, even before I realized self-improvement ever existed. It was so horrible. But I now know that even if I fall into that shit again, I know I won't stay there. I know how to get out of there. Just because I know I need to progressively overload, add in the good habits over time, slowly. And that's how you make progress in life. You know that story, the one great story from Ali Abdaal, he said, once a guy, an experienced entrepreneur with like a huge business, asked me on Twitter, Ali, I posted videos, it's 3 times or 2 times a week, something like that, for 4 years, and I want your advice. I know I'm still a beginner, I'm still at the beginning stages, but I want your advice on how can I grow. And Ali was so fascinated, because 4 years posting consistently, people after 2 months already want to have thousands of subscribers. And that is the level of humility, the level of honestly, I have a great word for that, just right here. That's the level of humility, and having humility to admit I am weak is actually strong. I have this addiction, game addiction, watching stupid videos addiction, I had anime addiction, I had and still kind of have porn addiction. Because I say kinda because it's progressively deloaded from my life. When I fab 2-3 times a day, I now, no, it's not now, just when I realized fapping is bad, I reduced it to 1 time a day, 2 times a day. Just by knowing that it's bad for me. And I was struggling with this no fap. I was like, oh man, I relapsed, it's a fail. But it's not a fail. I went from 50 repetitions per month to like 45 to 40. It was still a win on the long run. And now, I might do that once in a couple of days, once in a week. When I was real serious in my monk mode before my last ride, I didn't fap for a month. It was just unnecessary for me. I didn't need that shit. It's progressively deloading or progressively overloading how you make progress in life. And I return to that example of entrepreneur who is 4 years into his content posting and he says he's a beginner. I admire him. I respect him. Because not a lot of people can actually say that, yeah, I put a fuck ton of effort into the thing and I still have no progress. I'm still a beginner and I'm ready to learn. I want to learn more. I want to be great. I want your advice. A lot of people are willing to offer their help. It was a TED Talk I listened the other day. A lot of people want to help people, but not a lot of people want to ask for help. Ego is the enemy. If you think even the smallest thing like said Hamza, when I watched Hamza on Discipline Guide, he said discipline isn't about 100 kilometers run like David Goggins. He's decades into that. Hamza said it's about making your bed. It's about doing the thing you don't want to do. It's about hopping into a cold shower, meditating. It's that feeling, yeah, I don't feel like that. And still doing it, even if it's the smallest thing. And it should feel beneath you. but you still do it. That's the right approach. That's how you improve your discipline. And it applies to literally everything in life. I don't know how much should I talk about it to ingrain it in yourself. But if you think now that, yeah, I got the point, progressive overload is the way to go. Repeat that fucking 10 times. And repeat that to me in half a year. Because it took me 2 years to realize that. Literally think about it. How fucked up is that? The first book I ever read was Atomic Habits. And probably the first 30 pages, no, even the first 10 pages of it was 1% of improvement every single day is the way to go. Now I'm 2 years afterwards, having a huge amount of experience now. Well, kind of huge. I am still a beginner. In total beginner, I haven't achieved nothing. But just having more experience than zero, I realize, well, yeah, 1% of improvements every day is a way to go. Ingrain that in yourself. A great way to do that is to use papers. Just stick a paper in front of your computer desk on a small paper on your laptop somewhere on the screen. Wherever you can see it, it's a great way to remember stuff. Now, the great actionable step that will get you to progress a lot in whatever you wanna is ask yourself the question, what is this small thing I can handle right now to start making progress in that thing I so long wanted to achieve? If that's starting on your business, let's say, just watch one video. Just research that on YouTube. Type, what's the best business model to start in 2024? Just watch one video. That's it. It's easy, right? If you want to watch 2 videos, great. If you don't, 1 is enough. If you want to go to the gym, I don't really think it's relevant because you go to the gym, I know that. If you struggle to go to the gym consistently, just make a monthly data points. A habit tracker, if you will. I didn't really use habit trackers at all because I had Google Calendar to track it. But it's a great way. Just gather the data of how much did you go for a month. Just get the paper and write. Well, gym and 30 squares beneath it. Below it. That's how you progress. Progressive overload. Improve.